What is going on, guys? Griffin here, and I'm coming at you with some tips and tricks here for Rogue Company, the new third-person objective-based shooter from Hi-Res Studio. These are for newer and advanced players as well, so pick and choose, and hopefully it can help you out. Number one, this is a slower pace game. If you come over from Call of Duty, Overwatch, Paladins, any of those games, there's a lot of RNG that takes place in those games. This, you have to play it a little bit slower, a little bit more tactile. So do not run and gun. Use your environment to your advantage. Whenever you're moving from one place to another, see what kind of cover you have, and if you start getting shot, where you can roll or move to without taking any damage. Number two, corner peeking. Now this is a tactic that I use a lot myself, and I got this from playing Gears of War. So you can stand or crouch behind a piece of cover or a wall. You can manipulate your camera to look around the corners and see who's in front of you. And if you stand right, then the enemy will not be able to see you. So please use that to your advantage as much as possible. Also, be sure to shoulder swap when you're standing behind cover with your left side open. That way you can see clearly around that corner, and you can see if there's any enemies that will be coming around that area, or see if anybody will be pushing you. Also, know all of the angles which you can be attacked from behind and in front of you. So if there's one entrance or a couple of sets of cover in front of you and there's cover behind you, be aware of where you could potentially be attacked from and where you can move to not take any damage. Number three is communication. One of the most important things in the game is communicating. Whether you're playing with a group of people or you're playing by yourself, use the in-game chat, and if you do not have a mic, use the pinging system. Whenever you relay information to your team, if they do have a mic, give them quick information about where they're located and how many enemies are there. And if you can see what kind of weapons or what kind of gadgets or utilities that they have, that's also a good bonus to include in this information. Next is team comp. Whenever you pick your rogues, be aware that some rogues have the same abilities as other rogues, kind of repackaged or repurposed in a different way. For example, if you're going to use Dallas, then your team doesn't necessarily need a Talon on your team to help reveal enemies, because you have a Dallas on your team. Every time he downs someone, he can snap and reveal more people on the map. Always use the best team comp that you can to either attack or defend the objective. Next, we have running in pairs. So whether you're defending or attacking, it's always a good idea to run in groups of two. Most of these maps have multiple flank routes, or multiple lanes, if you want to call it that, where enemies can, or you can run and utilize, and most of these lanes have areas that connect them from one place to another. So if you run in pairs, and let's say, for example, two people are going to go A to defend, two people are going to go B to defend, it's not a good idea for both people to go down the same lane and try to protect that area. It's good to both people go to one bomb site and then spread out from there, so that you can have the greatest possibility of seeing how many enemies are approaching you and what the other members of your team can do to try to flank these members. One of the most OP things in the game right now, in my opinion, are the gadgets or utilities that you can purchase between rounds. So grenades, smoke grenades, flashbang grenades, any of these things are incredible. So always try to pick those up in the store and use them as much as possible. You get a new one every single round, so there's no reason in saving it. Also, use the rogue's abilities. There are so many times when I'm either playing or watching someone play where I don't, or someone on my team does not use their rogue's abilities, which can come in clutch in a last minute 3v1 situation. Another thing to keep in mind is choosing the right weapon for the right map. So if you're playing on a map that has long sight lines, do not buy a character's shotgun, and vice versa. If you're on a map with shorter sight lines, It's not a good idea to get a sniper rifle, or with Saint, his weapon that has ADS where it's basically a red dot. That's not going to help you. It's going to throw you off and it's going to slow your momentum down. You're not going to be able to capitalize on the map itself. So always choose the correct weapon. And another good thing to do is get familiar with all the rogue's pistols. The pistols in this game are amazing. They are one of the best things about the game, in my opinion. So when you pick a rogue that you really like, get familiar with their pistol, max it out as quickly as possible, and always use the pistol when you have to. It is a lifesaver, and it will help you in a last 1v1 situation. Next up, know when to ADS and when to hipfire. I see this happen a lot, and I know there's a lot of new people to third-person shooters and that's not used to aiming the way that you aim on Rogue Company. But one thing that you need to keep in mind is ADS is perfect for when you're behind cover, you don't plan on doing a lot of moving, and you have advantage over the enemy, whether it be you know where they're at and they don't know where you're at, whether you're on top of something, you're above them, any of these things. But once you start moving, once someone starts pushing you, once you get really close range, there is no reason to ADS. It slows your sight down and it doesn't allow you to react to situations quite as quickly as it does whenever you're hip firing. So always know when to ADS and when to hip fire. That is one of the most important and crucial things that I see most players, including myself, fail at. Next, we have knowing when to cross or flank an enemy. So whenever you're communicating with your team and you know how many enemies there are and where they are, you can use this information to your advantage to know which lanes to take whenever you're flanking. Maybe you need to take the longer route around if there's several of them that's piled up in one single area, or maybe a shorter route around if there are multiple enemies spread out to different access points to the point itself. Also, whenever you are pushing or flanking on someone, I like to do something that is called crossing someone. So if you get into a position and your teammate gets into a position and there's an enemy focusing on your teammate, you can use that moment to move because they're not going to have enough time to react to shoot at you. Also, whenever you push up, even if you're in the open area and you know that you have enough cover to not take any damage, you can cross them by providing some cover fire for your teammate so that they can get advantage on that enemy. Communication is key, but also smart playing is the most important in the cross or flanking area of the game. Going along with crossing and flanking, we also have knowing when to thirst. As of right now, there's only 2 characters in the game that have the ability to res a teammate from across the map or revive themselves. Recognize the team comp that you're going up against. If they have one or both of these characters, then you need to take advantage and recognize the situation that you need to thirst. And when I mean thirst, down someone, go in for the kill. If you down a chalk and there's people around him, let him res himself. It's okay. He will have less health at that moment that he reses, and you can get into better position. If you down someone by themselves and there's a Saint on their team, then thirst it so that he can use his ability. Once the ability starts, then kill the person that he's trying to res, and that takes his revive drone out of the situation. If an enemy is pushing on you or you're pushing on an enemy and they have, let's say, all 4 members in front of you and you down one person, unless your whole team is going to push in with you, it's never a good idea to try to thirst that kill. It's always a good idea to kind of hang back, use your grenades, use your utilities, use your abilities, and try to get better advantage on the situation without the enemy knowing exactly where you are. And lastly, the most important tip that I can give you today is to listen. The footstep audio in this game is incredible. You can tell exactly where someone's at, how far away they are, and which direction they are moving. So listen to your surroundings. You can also tell the different types of weapons and the different types of abilities that these people have just by listening. The more you play, the more familiar these sounds will get. But the footstep audio is one of the most important things because you can tell who's pushing you, who's running away from you, where they're at, what lane they're in. It is crucial to learn to listen. Hopefully some of these tips help some of you guys out. I know there's a lot of people that's new to third-person shooters that are coming over and trying this game out. Fantastic game. I love it. So please try to apply one, if not all of these tips to your gameplay. Get better and I will see you on the battlefield. Thank you. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up button below. Let us know that you like it. If you want to see more, hit that little red box with the letters in it. Thanks for watching, guys.